Okay, thanks. Okay. Lacey Evans,
Hi. How?
WWE. Huge media following on social media and regular media, and I know you got a lot of fans here, Lacey, that are excited to be able to spend some time with you. So thank you so much for joining us on 24 Hours of Nothing But Net.
No, thank you. I mean, I was just watching you, and there is no way I could make any of those.
Well, that's okay. I don't think I could jump off the top rope and hammer somebody either.
Well, maybe you can teach me, and I'll teach you a couple things.
That's a fair deal. Now, you are very popular. A lot of the guys around here have been talking about you. We've been excited about getting a chance to see you. Tell us why you're so passionate about Special Olympics.
Because when I started with WWE, it was one of the first events that I got to actually partake in. And it was one of my first doing anything with Special Olympics, to be honest with you, in my whole life. So, one of the first things I got to do was like a cornhole tournament. And the drive that those awesome individuals have is incredible. I mean, it's mind blowing because, a lot of people, they look at people that's in the Special Olympics and they assume so much stuff, but they can be no more wrong. Like these kids and these young adults and these human beings have such a motivation that is, I mean, it's unmatched. And I also got to coach a Special Olympics basketball game. And I'm telling you something right now, those motivators were out there ready to win, and they just blow me away. They're motivated, and I feel like they don't get the credit that they deserve. They work so incredibly hard, just like everybody in the world. And and they're just amazing athletes. So being able to see that firsthand for the first time is awesome, and I think everybody in the world should take part or watch or do whatever they can just to get a little taste of what the Special Olympics is and what these motivators, and I keep calling them motivators because that's what they are. I mean, you know it as well as I do. They're unstoppable. They're like driven, and their eye is on a target. And it was just incredible to watch and see. And so I just love being part of it.
Well, you know, we're in the middle of a marathon here, a free throw shooting marathon, so you can understand probably some of the training and the fitness that it's required for me to be ready to be able to take on this task. Can you tell us a little bit about what your normal fitness routine is like when you're getting ready for the season?
Well, it never stops for WWE superstars. It's year round. Unfortunately, there is no season and like off breaks. We are constantly traveling the world. And I think that is kind of like the hardest part of preparing for week after week. I mean, we're on the road over 300 days a year. So the hardest part about preparing for year round competition is the travel, because we are stopping at hotels and city after city, state after state, jumping different countries to perform live. So we have to juggle the training in the middle of flights and travel time and in rental cars. So we have to get workouts when we can and eat the best we can being on the road, and work out. And it's full body. You can't just train one thing and be ready. It's endurance, it's physical ability, it's mobility, it's flexibility, and then you throw in the acting side of it and having to learn how to have that confidence to speak in front of cameras and on cue. So it's a lot, but and it's year round. We just have to schedule it out and have a lot of motivation. Just like all the athletes at the Special Olympics, we have to be motivated and disciplined physically and mentally to do so.
You know what, your travel schedule and the way you prep sounds a lot of very similar to what I do when we're traveling the college basketball landscape for ESPN, working games and trying to be prepared, and you got all the travel that comes with it. I want to ask you when you get to a city and you're ready to have an event at night, what's your normal day like?
For me personally, it's a little different than most. I'm a mother, so I homeschool my daughter, and she travels the world with me. So, depending on what day it is and her school lessons that need to be done, we normally start our day with kind of early morning school lessons. And then we go out and about the town. I let her explore, and my husband will take over at that point as I break away in the midday to go off to train before I actually get backstage to prepare to perform at each given city. So mine's a little weird because I also have to juggle the mom side and the school side, and actually making time for my daughter to see the world and explore as well. But I'll make sure to get up before her, and I'll get a workout in before, and then I'll get a secondary one to loosen up and get ready to get in the ring and go live by that night around 7:30. So, but once again, as you know, it just takes discipline mentally and physically to make all of that happen.
So Lacey, I get this question asked all the time about trying to balance career and family, and we have three boys. You know, my son Frankie is our middle son. He's our son that is a Special Olympic athlete. How do you balance all of it with a career that's very public, that it requires incredibly physical demand, plus you want to have time with your daughter?
I put my family first, and you know as well as I do as a mother. Let's put the athlete aside. As a mother, we could not be the athletes that our companies need from us unless we are first and foremost the mothers and the wives that our families need us to be, because they are our why. They are our motivation, and without them, I mean, it wouldn't be that physical and mental motivation to get up, to work out, to train, to be prepared that night. We wouldn't have the gas. Like, for me, my family is what gasses me up. So I put them first. I make sure that they have a smile on their face, and so when I plan my schedule, you know how it is. We've got fitness we have to do. We've got stretching. We've got flexibility. And then we actually have our performance side, and then throw in the eating. So it's a lot of planning. I carry planners. I write down everything. But the first thing in here is morning, family, breakfast, schoolwork, and then I make sure everything after that is okay. Now what is needed of me as an athlete and as a performer. And I think that gives me the motivation I need, is by putting my family first. And then once I can check that box off right about noontime, when they're living their best life and feeling loved and happy and fed, then that's where my mindset as a mom and as an athlete kind of zooms in to, okay, well, now it's time to start ripping my muscles and getting ready for the show tonight. And that's where, that drive comes from. It's my family.
So Lacey, I want to know, like, what sports did you play to prepare yourself for this career?
uh wow. Well, I was in the United States Marine Corps, and I think that I can, really say that was probably what really got me ready for the mental side, because it's a mental tough. You could teach anybody how to actually wrestle. But the traveling and and taking initiative and the discipline to be up at 03 and flight by 5 and making venues, and that the Marine Corps taught me to be prepared for anything at any given time. But I did wrestle in high school. I did amateur folk style and freestyle wrestling. I was ninth in the nation and first in the state. So the physical side, and that kind of like sport discipline I got from there. But once I joined the Marine Corps and once I got out, it gave me a level of confidence that prepared me to become a WWE superstar.
Okay, so are you a good guy or a bad guy most of the time?
Well, Lord, honey, I am a bad guy through and through. I tried the good guy part and I just couldn't cut it. I get too angry, and I come from the South, and you know what they say about Southern women? We have sharp tongues, and I can't hold mine back.
Okay, so you're like, what's your signature move, or like, what's something that you do? Like, do you jump off the top rope and smash somebody, or how does that work? Do you throw them? Like we do some wrestling moves around our house. It's usually involving some sort of headlock and some sort of punching, or some kind of smash of somebody's head.
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, bad guys do whatever they have to do in order to win. Opportunity, anything that I take advantage of any opportunity I have. God forbid there's a kendo stick or a chair that I could smack somebody with, because I'll grab it, honey. But my finisher, the deadly woman's right. One of these bad boys to the face, and those nasty women aren't getting up.
The women's right. Give us an example of what that looks like. Is that just a pow or what is it?
It's kind of like that, but with a lot more force. You know, like when you piss off a Southern woman real bad and you spill her sweet tea, you just pack it right on in there. But that was close. You teach me how to throw some free throws, and I'll teach you how to give a good woman's right.
That's a deal. I'd like to learn how to give a good woman's right. Right in a kisser. That would be something I need to learn how to do.
All right, we got to get together.
Lacey, thank you. You are wonderful. We appreciate everything that you've done to help us grow our fundraising effort here. You know, last time I checked, we were at $144,000. We are just overwhelmed. Wait.
Wow.
Excuse me, I have an update. I'm hearing an update.
Uh-oh.
$151,000. Lacey, how about that news?
That is awesome. You know, we do a lot in the ring to perform, but let me tell you what you're doing right now. I want to thank you, because it's incredible to keep this program going, and these athletes and these motivators out there doing what they do. So it's just awesome, and I just want to thank you so much.
For you, and when we get a chance to see you perform live, I guarantee you I'm going to be contacting you to try to find out how I get backstage so I can learn about that women's right.
All right, let's do it.
Thank you, Lacey. Lacey Evans with WWE, women's right. Keep an eye on her. She's a very popular wrestler. She's a bad guy, and I like that. All right. Okay, so we're going to do an interview right now with the ACC Network and ESPN. So they asked us if they could come to our live stream and do a little hit with us. So we're game for that for sure.